This is the final chapter of the series. Kill the boy and let the man rise. If you're just arriving here, pause, go back, watch the previous episodes. Because this isn't just content, it's a path. Each episode is built on the last. Each idea sharpened by the blades of ancient minds. Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. Men who understood one truth, that strength begins where illusion ends. And illusion is what we're here to kill. There is a voice inside you. It doesn't shout. It doesn't explain. It doesn't need to. It simply knows. You've heard it before. That tightness in your chest before you entered a room. The stillness that fell over you just before someone betrayed you. That strange weight in the silence before something went wrong. You felt it, but you moved forward anyway. You smiled. You stayed. You silenced the only voice that was trying to protect you, your instinct. This isn't just a philosophical idea. This is biology, survival, ancient wisdom, written in your bones. Long before you learned to speak, long before you learned to explain yourself, you knew how to feel. Instinct is the language of truth before it's been edited by fear, reason, or hope. And still, we ignore it. Why? Because we are addicted to hope, addicted to potential. We choose to believe that people will change, that things will work out, that the situation will fix itself. But instinct doesn't speak in maybes. It tells you what is, and you ignored it, not because you're weak, but because you're human. But here's the cost. Every time you override your instinct, you abandon yourself. You reinforce the idea that other people's comfort matters more than your clarity, that pleasing others matters more than protecting your peace. You trade self-respect for temporary approval, and slowly, without even realizing it, you become deaf to the only voice that ever truly had your back. Remember this, instinct is not drama, it's not paranoia. It doesn't need a reason. It doesn't owe you logic. Its job is not to convince you. Its job is to warn you. And every time you ask it to justify itself, you weaken your ability to survive the emotional traps this world sets for the unaware. So why do we silence it? Because instinct forces us to confront truths we're not ready to face. That someone you love might not be safe. That an opportunity might be a trap. That the version of you you've been clinging to is no longer serving your future. That's the tragedy. Instinct doesn't fail you. You fail it by pretending you didn't hear it. So let me ask you, when was the last time your gut told you to leave, but you stayed? What did it cost you? And more importantly, what part of yourself died in the silence you didn't listen to? You knew. You knew when their tone changed, when their eyes didn't match their words, when the energy in the room shifted from warm to watchful, when your chest tightened, not from fear, but from truth knocking on the door of your awareness. But instead of opening it, you distracted yourself. You said, they're just tired. Maybe I'm overthinking. I should be more understanding. And so, you let the moment pass. You let the gut pull die down. You smiled through your discomfort and called it maturity. You silenced yourself and called it peacekeeping. But instinct is not noise. It is presence. It doesn't scream. It stands. It doesn't argue. It watches. It's that quiet flicker in the dark telling you, this isn't right, and if you ignore it long enough, it dims. Not because it disappears, but because you've stopped honoring it. You start trusting others' words more than your own awareness. You lean on appearances, not patterns. And before you know it, your life is built, not on decisions, but on hesitations. You don't move forward. You wait for permission. And that's when the boy in you wins again. The boy seeks validation. The man trusts perception. And here's the difference. The boy needs signs that are undeniable. He waits for collapse before acting. But the man acts on tension, on misalignment, on those invisible threads that feel off, even when the world tells him everything looks fine. Because the man knows something the boy refuses to believe. That betrayal doesn't arrive in one blow. It leaks in, slowly, through every ignored warning. Think back. Who did you give the benefit of the doubt when your gut screamed otherwise? What jobs, relationships, agreements, or environments did you stay in because you needed more proof? How many battles did you lose because you waited to be certain? Here's the truth. Your instinct is certainty. It just doesn't speak the language of logic. It speaks in awareness. It speaks in subtlety. It speaks in stillness. So the next time it whispers, will you listen? This is the final chapter, and perhaps the most brutal one. Because this one demands that you turn the knife inward. Not in blame, but in ownership, you see. Every ignored instinct wasn't just a missed warning. It was a moment where you chose comfort over clarity, where you prioritized belonging over boundaries, where the boy in you begged to be loved more than he longed to be safe. And that's where the war is fought. Not in the outer world, but within. You weren't betrayed when they lied. You were betrayed when you knew and stayed. You weren't broken when they left. You were broken when you sensed it coming and silenced the alarm inside. This is not about paranoia. It's about presence. The man in you doesn't need certainty to act. He doesn't wait for permission to leave. He doesn't collect evidence to justify his escape. He trusts the weight in his chest, the shift in energy, the coldness behind a smile, the unease that lingers after the apology. He trusts it because he has met the cost of not trusting it. And that cost is himself. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But the man understands something deeper. That ignoring reality creates a far greater suffering, one where your own knowing becomes the enemy. So today, we end the funeral. We've buried the boy who needed to explain his instincts to others. We've silenced the echo of self-doubt disguised as kindness. We've outgrown the need to be understood before we act. Now, we act. Not because we're angry, but because we are awake. This is the birth of lucidity. And here's the final question this series leaves you with. What would your life look like if you trusted yourself the first time?